possible. If maybe.
I can see it. I see the stream.
I exist. I'm existent. There's menu music from a particular video game that we may or may not be playing. The joke is that we definitely are, because why would I have it open if we weren't playing it? You know, that's kind of how that be. Gotta continue this game. Because even though it's only been less than a day since we started, it's fucking amazing.
I'm very loud on the stream, by the way.
You are?
Yes.
I'm gonna turn you down on discotheque. Wait, what about the music? Is the music okay? You know what? I'm just gonna turn the whole...
You and the game are good. I'm just loud.
Oh, you? So then I'm gonna turn you down on discotheque. 125% Luca. Say what?
Papa Booey.
Okay, now you gotta find out.
Still pretty loud.
Shit.
What happens if you turn me all the way down?
I'll tell you to 96%. Because it's the opposite of the funny number.
True.
How's that? Test word. Let's say words now that you can tell.
Papa Booey, baba. Still pretty, maybe like to 60% or 70%.
But then I can't hear you.
What? How are you capturing audio?
The same way I always do. What do you mean?
Because like...
Is Discord like broken or something?
Well, if you're capturing desktop audio, you should be able to... It should just be what you hear. It's what the stream is.
Yeah, that is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm just removing some things.
Well, just make sure you can hear me.
I can hear you.
How's...
I can tone down desktop audio, which means the game will also be quieter, but still. How's that? Say some words now. I've just turned the volume down.
Wait, you've got two audio sources?
Yeah, desktop audio and microphone.
Oh, okay.
But it's like I have OBS audio settings, and I have my actual computer audio, and I have Discord volume. It's like technically I've got all these things to manage.
Okay, well, it sounds fine on stream.
I'll take fine over like too loud.
Yeah, it's better than it was before.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, it better be, because I turned you down from like -14 to -17 on OBS.
Like a minus? Nice.
Minus. We doing it? We playing the Daigyak? I gotta at people. I gotta let people fucking know that we're actually around. Damn. Wouldn't it be great if I used my community server to tell people that we exist?
Wait, what do you mean you turned me down on OBS? Do you mean on Discord?
I'm on Discord.
Okay, cool.
But but a reminder, OBS has like volume sliders.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I meant. That's the whole everything.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'm worried you've got like two audio sources.
I do not anymore. Not after last time. Which is weird because I still heard you as doubled sources. How do I check what's an audio source and what ain't?
What ain't?
It doesn't seem like there's a thing. I don't know. Whatever. It should be fine, right? It should be easy peasy. Easy, better, good.
Yeah.
7 out of 10. Wouldn't do again. I don't know. I'm gonna play video game. I've added people in server. We're good, right? Let's do it. Let's tagak. There's tats in chat. There we go. That's what I was hoping to see. Hoping to see today. Wow.
Super Mario Satani!
Anyway, when we last left off, Susato Mikotoba showed up. Mikotoba. Fuck, I already fucked myself. I already did it wrong! So I was having an entire moment before we started streaming where I was like, it's Mikotoba, not Mikotoba, Mikotoba. And I'm like, and then I just said it wrong. That's alright. That's okay.
True. I think maybe we'll have a bit of a shorter one today anyway.
Yeah. Or at least the Ace Attorney part we will. Because maybe we can play something else later, but like, yes.
Valid.
Vanguard. Alright. The Supreme Court of
Can you stream on Discord?
Oh. You're absolutely right.
Thank you.
Imagine remembering all the things I have to do to set up. There you go.
So
Is it working?
I'm looking.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're apparently changing stuff, so we'll see how that goes. But Big changes. The standard. Not sitted. We ain't sitting. This is Vanguard. We stand for Vanguard. That's how that works.
Oh my god, you're right.
Playing Vanguard on my standing desk. Anyway. Courtroom number 2.
Number 2.
Stand Le Vanguard, as you know. There she is. Susato Mikotoba. That's right, I was the judge, wasn't I? Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom?
A judicial assistant, and a woman no less. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify.
Yes, I fully understand. I only ask for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense.
You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded.
5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more.
But, Your Excellency...
I am most grateful. She cool. Hey, look.
Oh, got the squad.
Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something? Written in English. It's Giselle Brett's research. The Englishwoman's? After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper.
Oh, yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she?
So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not.
Special characteristics of cura and its effects on human subjects. Interesting.
Cura? What's that? Never heard that word before. Neither have I.
Time's up. Yep, 5 minutes. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from this courtroom.
There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful, thank you. Giselle's report entered into the court record. It's exciting. Goodbye then, and good luck. I have no idea if I'm doing her voice any remote amount of justice, but whatever. Whatever, fuck it.
Good.
Fine. You have had long enough counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. That's right, I was doing this character as well, wasn't I? I ask the prosecution and the defense now, one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but it's time for me to look at the court record and look at the new thing we were just given, and there you go. Poison made for the bark of certain trees in jungle South America. Hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Instant blast of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Ancient effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart.
Hmm.
In the birds, relieve the toxin could have application as an aesthetic. Respiratory arrest caused as a result of the poison must be found. Most of the patients would die of suffocation. Okay, but did he have a wound? That's the question.
Yeah, it can't be delivered through the glass.
It can.
Huh?
Because the wound is the tooth that was pulled out.
Oh, you're a fucking genius. So
that must be it. That's my guess, at least. I have no idea. I'm guesstimating.
Makes sense to me.
Look at all the people. Bitch.
Bitch.
Like, I like the shady Miriam way more. Significantly more as a person. Way less shady. Then again, Miriam also didn't kill anybody, so you know there's that too. I will allow. I will allow.
Just straight up, like the one word at permitted term.
Add permitted term. Bitch.
Bitch.
I'm clicking Z, but it wasn't working.
Oh, bitch.
I read that already.
The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add. Your Excellency.
There you go.
Easy.
Your Excellency.
Really, Suko, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance.
Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett?
What do you think? Pretty cool.
Yes, Your Excellency. I've got to give her the high voice of like a cunt. A cunt. a very specific kind of voice. If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely decline. Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense.
Bruh.
My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel. What is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? Well, first of all, it's the fucking report. Right? I can't think of what else it could possibly be.
Yeah.
No, really? That makes sense. Yeah.
Yes!
Miss Giselle Brett. We understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yuma University, doing research. Okay. Research by sheer coincidence, perhaps, into a deadly poison.
Sorry.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
You having a moment? You throw it alright?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what they say? Hydrate. I actually have a glass of water with me this time, so whatever will you do about it?
I think you should drink it right now, a little bit.
Not all of it. I had a little bit of it just now, though. Poison. Just the word by itself made me think of the Edgeworth clip again. Where are you going with this, counsel?
A toxin known as curare, Your Excellency. Well, you see, I just looked it up in Google. I know how to pronounce it now.
How is
Even
it?
the slightest amount of... It's pronounced curare.
Curare. Ah.
It's not Japanese. I just did that for some reason. Apologies.
Okay.
Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to an instant death.
What? What complete and utter nonsense? Curare, you say? I've never heard of it.
You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country.
That was you.
doesn't exist.
That's the boy. The man. Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify curare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison.
Yeah.
What?
Get got, my dude. Order! 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 Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist?
According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
To lace their arrows?
The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. It was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. claims that animal shot by arrows laced with curare suffer instant death.
Oh wow, their strength is double their toughness? Damn. 40k 7th and earlier joke. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Back when it still had keyword special abilities like
Not
that.
only did you reference 40k, you also referenced like a...
An older version of it. Like a
Yeah.
4-year-old version of the game.
Incredible.
Instant death.
Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brent?
Trumpery! These aspersions are utterly trumpery! I don't know what that means. To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners would have surely noticed.
That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector?
Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that.
I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain.
Shall we?
I see.
According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean, the other way around?
The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curare was used.
Explain yourself, Counsel.
The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there'd be no visible signs of pain at all. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects would go largely unnoticed.
But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death.
The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe, it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail.
Respiration?
In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move.
Gosh, that is unpleasant as hell.
That's hideous.
The observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison.
Jeez.
That's, yeah. Christ.
Jeez. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison?
This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means for testing, or a happy tale for the defense.
Ahem, if I may.
All these facts. You think you're so clever.
Oh, I love that.
It is you who must be taught.
Of course, of course. Dear lady.
So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I am appalled. What a loathsome act.
Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual.
Whatever do you mean?
Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime.
Heinous.
That's how we pronounce it here. That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the Great Empire of Japan is breaking the rules.
What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett? May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, yes. I don't see, why not? Is she gonna down
Bottoms
it?
up, and the devil laughs.
I want her to die right now.
She won't though.
It was on the glass. It was on the glass, though.
I think your theory about the mouth hole. What is it called?
The wound. The extracted tooth.
Yeah, mouth hole. Yeah, got it. I think that's where it's at.
Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little Islander boys. God, I hate her.
Sorry?
To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. Huh? But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers. Please die. Wait, what are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. The absolute dead silence. Goodness. Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned. Well, she just trumped Dahlia Hawthorne. Like, oh my god.
This poison is straight up better in this case, yeah.
Yeah, this is fucked.
So, no curare. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying?
You look quite incredulous, little boy, but of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett? Oh, yawning is hard. Why am I yawning? I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries. Ah, yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have given. Oh, fuck. No shit.
Fuck. This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how did she? How did she swallow the whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it.
Well, I suppose, if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London.
Get out of here, fucking...
We're gonna fucking kill her. There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead.
Or is there?
Come on, Ryunosuke. We have the clues now. That bottle of water contains no poison. It was on the glass.
No!
As I thought, there is no poison in that bottle.
What? Why, Ryunosuke?
Isn't it obvious? If there was poison in there, she'd be dead by now.
Sometimes your unadulterated naivety really astounds me. But sometimes it's in need of a good shaming. Until it's as stark as your uniform in the ways of the world.
Oh, is that what this color is supposed to represent? That was a guileless ending. Oh, well, what?
It's in the bottle, but she doesn't have a wound. So how would it
The
affect
wound.
her?
Oh, the wound.
Yeah, I literally brought that up a minute ago.
I didn't think, okay? I didn't think.
All good.
Guileless ending to a promising line of inquiry, Counsel, for which you'll be penalized. Ah, so trial is poisoned. There has to be pink poison. Contains poison, fine. I didn't look.
You were just very insistent on, like, the...
I just thought it must have been the glass. Like, that's all.
That's valid.
The culprit did put curare poison in Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position.
You're serious?
Fool, are you blind? There's no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw.
Miss Brett drinking the water from it? That's right, which rather complicates your argument, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained.
Well, exactly?
I just had to rethink my think and go back to my previous line of think, that's all.
Exactly.
My brain just was like, surely if ingested, therefore it would just kill you. I didn't, like... I get the whole, like, the wound part, but, like... that still seems insane that you could drink it and be fine as long as you don't have any wounds inside your body.
Yeah, it might actually be true in some cases, though.
That's, like... That just threw me for such a loop. I was like, oh, well, then it must have been the glass, which is why she took it with her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, I was thinking about the fact she took the glass with her.
Yeah.
But, like... If it really is just fine without the wound in you, then that's... Well, first of all, she's British, so it should still have killed her. She's British. She's British in the 19th century. It should have killed her. That is 100% how life works, how timeline works. All right, alright,
I'll give you that.
All right, that was bullshit.
Shizugumi. Don't tell him. Should have made her whiter.
Made her whiter.
Yeah, made her as like British as possible.
She's Lamau. Anyway. Direct wound contamination. All right, yeah, but
wow, it's even like real. Cool.
Yeah, he mentioned that before.
I didn't realize it was to that extent.
I just didn't think that like a direct wound contamination, but like still micro cuts on the inside of your digestive tract kind of thing, and surely like you got something. I don't know. Surely there's some. Anyway, whatever. I'm just annoyed because I didn't think that would be how that worked. But sure, we're right. We're fine. I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. So we don't get the cool Mind Palace thing from the end from AA5. That, you know,
or do we?
I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. Very well. The defense truly intends to assert his claim. Then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. I see.
Oh, neat. That's cool.
What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed? Well, do we start with the report?
Yup. Page 3, baby.
Yes!
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
That's not a valid explanation.
No?
After all, Wonderwall, we don't speak English. The report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency.
I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading Susato-san's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section counsel. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle? Is it special characteristics? Hang on. I need to read it and figure out if I remember if it was page 2 or page 3 now.
I assume they make it in order, so they just to not fuck you.
And just through a wound, so page 2. So special characteristics.
Oh, it wasn't 3. Okay, nice.
Yeah, so that's why I wasn't sure, because the special characteristics was listed as 2. We've been hearing a lot about this curare poison, and it's left me curious about something. Oh, Counsel? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years, to lace the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat.
To the point, please.
But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat?
Yes, good point.
So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Council. No, that would be madness. But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. So, okay, this makes sense. This explanation is helping me understand, basically, the thing that I was talking about. It's like, alright, you need a direct wound. Specific, like, yeah, okay, I get it. I understand. I know that's what you were saying, but I'm, like, understanding it better now, is what my point.
Yeah.
Alright, we're getting on with this. We can do this. Actually, I found the answer to the conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. Hey, Monica!
Ooh.
Welcome. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When Kurai enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever.
What?
Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew Kurare's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little... What? Rapscallion! That's incredible. What the
Holy... Well, Ryunosuke, it turns out...
Also heard, like, mask extended. Like, I'm not sure if you noticed.
Oh, yeah. You're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be.
Really? Me? A lawyer?
All this wizard talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how it's possibly...
So yeah, extended. So the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with, some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. Says the one who is literally sitting there with a fucking swan on her head. Apparently a live swan. Anyway, what are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish?
Flaw?
This one did it. As even your brain has managed to deduce, curare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus. I don't know how to say that word. Wasn't expecting a word. I wasn't expecting such a weird word.
Isn't that a palindrome?
Yeah, it is. It's a palindrome, and also, if you remove CCU, you know what it says? It's sus. It's a sus word. Sus. There it is. My reaching this into one of those kind of jokes was a success. Get it? Was a success.
A
New Zealand success, baby. Anyway, whatever that word is. Oh well, yes, of course. Gastric suckers. What are they? So if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he?
Wrong.
Ah.
That's right.
Good gracious. That's basic science, science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no? But, hear me out. You're fucked. You're fucked.
We know...
Order in court, order. With an autosave. The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way.
Are you trying to suggest...
Yes, this curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case at trial.
That's right. God, she's such a bitch. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. What is this welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all of the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. The biggest bitch in the whole wide world. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Oh.
There it is. Mikiari! I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. Get fucked. How dare you use that tone with me?
That's fucking fan service, baby.
That was the best fan service ever. You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. What? What? Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you, you must provide compelling evidence. As we know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested, why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the curare?
Yeah, I guess.
Take that! Oh, yes. As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she's drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? My god. The toxic effects of curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So, for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water?
Oh?
Inside?
Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Ah! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. Ah!
So that's it. Use that knowledge to orchestrate this.
But why? What's the motive? That's the weird thing.
Maybe that's part of the hold on in this game.
Is she? Is it the breakdown? Laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are all so puerile. Oh, what do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy, you'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, it could just slip.
Don't do it. I cancelled.
Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. No! I feel like that's reason enough to convict her right there. The English woman, she just smashed the bottle. The Supreme Court, what a terrible blunder! Ah! Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from the broken bottle as possible at once. You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. Ha 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 ha! Cunt. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle or not. This is where the glass comes in. We just have to raid her place for the glass, get it, and test it. That's it.
You.
And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution?
Oh, of course, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady.
That's right. And really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with was back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
No,
You killed the victim that day using curare. And then, in order to frame Yunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you arranged for him to find on the floor before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see? You had every opportunity to commit this crime.
What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
Ah! This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now, is she really going to get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Meh. Lips.
Disgusting. Ryunosuke.
Yes?
We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it.
What? What do you mean?
We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us now to use, they must be in your head.
In my head?
You told me before that your powers of observation were the only thing that you could really depend upon.
So, what are we going to find out? That's the real question.
My Palestine.
Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head.
So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell.
Ah. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Blood.
Ooh. That was sick.
Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer?
There's nothing.
I mean, there must be something, obviously.
But it's right there.
Aside from the blood, you mean?
Yeah.
Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue.
You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on then. Let's wipe that smug smile off that English woman's face with some evidence.
Here it is. Alright, I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. Blood. Is here somewhere the clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is?
The real killer is the fork.
It's that, right? I'm like, I just want to make sure I'm not an idiot this time.
It's that.
Okay. See, I no longer trust myself.
Oh, come on.
Made a pretty big blunder, to be honest. Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this.
Yes? What is it?
Oh, he's still miles away, probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you?
Absolutely.
I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day.
Wait a minute. Where are you going with...
Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in the photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a spattering of blood.
What?
Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. Plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that the blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him.
Ah!
Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor, as you were. Giselle Brett.
I beg your pardon?
No. Didn't realize that line was going to continue.
This is ridiculous! Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing?
Ooh. Get his ass.
He even had a voice told it. That's actually impressive.
Love it.
I love that everyone's apparently has the fucking like cut in like dialogue as well.
That's so good. I love it.
You said this, I don't know.
This could be the motive that my entire career in the police force has been leading to.
Him is like very good. Inspector, you mean?
Yes, I took the plate in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it.
You did what?
I took the steak that you would be eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice.
What a guy. Yeah. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a blood stain on Miss Brett's plate. You must examine it now. Inspector. The court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately.
Yes, sir.
To be continued?
Here it
Oh,
is.
it's right here.
There's no way they do a to be continued, surely.
Surely not.
Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak.
Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it?
Hello, Claudio! Of course there
Hey,
isn't.
Claudio. Welcome. Quickly, Inspector, the blood man. Show the court.
Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure.
Oh, fuck.
If only we had nitro blah blah blah.
No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible. I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. God, I hate her so much. Don't know. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. But it is hers. It could only have been hers. He didn't have his own plate.
Wait, there's a separate plate. There's the sergeant's plate.
That's true.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, she might have swapped the sergeant's plate as well, because he did mention that. I say you can't
We can
trust
compare it
what
with the
Japanese
photo.
tell
We
you.
can compare the bites.
That's
with the
true.
photo.
That's true. Ah.
I couldn't agree more. In the case of this In the case of this disgrace to the Empire.
I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial. Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over.
This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly.
It's the wrong mistake, bitch.
If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest.
Was the plate I saw, or thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination? This is it now. I've lost. No, you haven't.
Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. Not until the final gavel.
That's something weird in my pocket. Just trying to... Oh my god, there's an entire Space Marine head that was just inside the pocket of my jumper.
How did that get there?
Oh, it's because there's actually a hole to the inside of my jumper is the problem, and it was just sitting inside the inside of my jumper. Just a Chaos Space Marine head. With the top knot. Okay.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what.
So what he's telling me is don't stop believing.
Don't stop
Hold
believing.
on to that feeling.
Hold on to that fucking feeling.
Feeling fucking. Believe in myself, really. Believe in the you that believes in me? Sure, I'll do it. Maybe I should examine the evidence for myself. So the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way. I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial would be unnecessary.
Wrong.
Does the defense have any objection? Bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Does the mistake reveal any other clues at all? Another clue, there must be. There must be.
There's always.
There's always another clue. Let me just... Court wreck. Because it looks like...
Ooh, what's in from view? Okay, so the bite mark, it was bitten next to the symbol, I guess. Next to the...
Let's see, it looks like that right now, but it kind of... But, as opposed to... Oh shit, hang on. If I check this one, I think this will help me. It's been eaten from all around in this one.
Oh. Yeah, from the sides, it looks like.
As opposed to... No, actually that's what it looks like. Shit.
Well, it's hard to tell.
I mean, maybe. Give me a sec.
Yeah, once we continue, maybe it'll be clearer. Oh, never mind.
Nope. Okay, I should check. I'm in keyboard modes. What the? Huh? What in the world is this?
That's the coin! Oh! I think it's a Kaban coin. From the hallmark from the Hoei era, I believe.
No, I don't mean what is it. I mean, what's it doing there? Yeah, this is the sergeant's plate. Claudia was right.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say it was a Hoei Koban? Sorry, what did you say?
Cool, I'm just reading Claudia's comment.
Yeah.
Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable.
This isn't the first time today there's been talk of a Hoei Koban.
I've heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion in bullion. I mispronounced that, sorry.
No, I think you were right, actually, but still. I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means... It's the wrong plate. It means it's the wrong plate.
Damn right.
Yeah, that's...
That was like the best way that could have been proved. I thought it was just going to be like bite marks, but that's even better.
That is a good line note, yeah. It is a very good line. There is another clue.
We already know it. We just saw it, baby.
Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. I can press enter instead of it so I can still keyboard it the whole way.
Oh, nice.
Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth.
The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beef steak.
With beef franks. I don't know. I'm trying to get my mouse to stick in the top cursor of the top corner of the thing, so it's just there. But you know. Anyway, so it's not like in the middle of the screen. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. Assessing over some good beef, am I right? Good time. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency.
Yeah, thanks, Judge.
Thanks, Judge, for actually being good at your job.
Being a real one. Yeah.
Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. Where precisely on this plate of beefsteak is this new clue to be found?
Can we examine? How does this work?
I have to...
Guess you just, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I just have to do it
Nice.
this week. Oh, I did it already. I think. It's a Koban coin.
Oh, yeah, cool. We can just skip it.
That's what I'm trying to do. Because I didn't press present, I pressed enter specifically. I was like, don't present, just do the thing.
Oh. Okay.
Specifically doing it as a redo thing.
Got it.
So it's for the first time. There it is again. Bullion and bullion. Now I gotta present that. If I can just...
Oh, that changed though, I think.
Yep.
A little bit at the end.
And then present.
Oh, you present during an examination. That's sick.
Yeah. Good gracious, that's...
Koban?
What on earth? Oh,
We wanted that.
that's the thing. That's a funny time. This is good. Miss Brett. This is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant of the day of question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat? What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part of it.
I fail to see how this is relevant. Coin underneath the meat? That could have simply been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction.
Objection!
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen? A rare Hawaii koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip out my ticket to Great Britain right now.
He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency? Yes, Counsel. A rare Hawaii koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now.
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. Even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under that steak.
And who may that be?
The owner. Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the koban was found underneath the beefsteak is... to present. Take that!
Literally in the person record, in case you forgot.
Yeah. What? What do we know? Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and owner of Rasute, Curio Corrector-san. Curie, as in Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable.
That's so funny, because my mnemonic for Q is like cucumber. So whenever a kanji is like Q,
Cucumber.
cucumber, yeah.
Nine cumber.
Exactly. I think about like cucumber.
It's a 9-cumber, as you know. It's very important.
Is it?
Eat your 9 cumbers.
Okay.
Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So he collected the sergeant's plate as well, and that means that's the sergeant's plate, because they were swapped. That is definitely what has happened. Yeah, 100%. Yes, Your Excellency. I'm keeping the line. I said it twice, even. Luca? Are you dead?
Oh, I muted myself. I remember him saying something. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his Kuon coin when it happened.
You're the one who's played this game, Tats. What are you doing right now? I'm so
At
confused.
exactly the moment the gun was fired.
The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. I remembered the voice. I'm glad.
Nailed it.
Too busy on the floor. Sorry, what were you doing?
Too busy on the floor being a dinosaur.
I wanted to get this creep off the ground.
God.
Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the Hoera Koban, my prized coin!
Eat. Congratulations on eat.
Yay! Eating is good. Eating is solid. Then this Hoera Koban, do you mean to tell me?
No, please! Why would Kirikido-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense. Yes.
Which is why I'm asking to bring Corrector-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. We're gonna get all 4 people on the stand all at once. I'm excited.
Oh, we got this squad?
Squad goals. I can't believe we've come back around to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this Koban, we'll find that it is a key element in the case.
And now, to be continued.
There it is. There, here we go. 4. The 4-person bench. We're here.
Look at these characters.
I love it.
What's this all about? Why have I been calling up again? Don't you realize it's dinner time for little baby Ado? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves.
Exploited by the police we were, like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom myself, I became a ruined man in a trice, a worthless withered antique. What the fuck is he saying? What does that even mean? Nothing more have I to say. The sun is set on this Rasute shop owner's existence. Is he gonna commit seppuku like right here and now? I hope not. Be that as it may, Corrector-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. Yeah, he really does Yoda speak. It's great. As far as your Rasute... Oh. That's it. The very one. The exact one this is. Wait, I love that it's caught in the fucking sergeant's foot as well. That is a great animation.
I couldn't see that was a foot. I'm glad you mentioned that. I thought it was an arm, like, all fucked up.
The very exact one, that is. The resplendent, splendiferous Hoei treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day.
It can't be.
As I thought. Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere.
We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices.
Yeah. Sandwiched? Soaking? Seriously?
Clearly, I couldn't have fallen there by accident. It couldn't have fallen by accident. Which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose.
The sergeant immediately starts fucking whistling. Someone concealed my Hoei treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate? I said treasure by accident. Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing. Unconscionable thing.
Excuse me. Could I say something?
Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga.
I mentioned this earlier on the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Ah, yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation. Le Conwell is a high-class restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including very foreigners.
Now I want a steak, damn it. I actually had dinner not that long ago. A couple hours ago, whatever. The point is, it's the one I want a steak.
Recently, there has been one of highly similarly executed thieves targeted the restaurant's Polish clientele.
Oh, nice.
Nailed it.
And multiple incidents have been reported to the police bureau.
I'm gonna just have a quick drink of my water. Damn it! I knew that I should have known that was coming. Wicked crimes indeed.
We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected.
So that's why he was sent in undercover, is it?
Yes, I took on the job of the waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this coupon incident is the work of the same thief.
So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems.
I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Corrector-san's Koban is all too clear.
What?
What? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who the despicable scoundrel that stole Corrector-san's Koban and hid it under the stake? I have to present.
Yeah, I think that's the guy.
Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant, yes or no, sir?
What? How dare you? You monster! You've turned me into...
Monster?
I stole that Koban, did I? I'm the best of people looking on the bill, am I? You're seriously accusing me of the crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me. It was Ido. Ido's the mastermind behind all this.
Huh?
That fucking face. The face of a killer.
Huh? You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa.
You don't know what he's capable of. He's a monster. You. Clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop.
Is this a Ratatouille kind of thing?
Nippon Imperial Army, Sergeant? Yes or no, sir? Preparing to stand in the Supreme Court, sir.
Stand down. Okay. What a moment. What an absolute moment that was. That was one of the best breakdowns I've ever seen.
Incredible.
Look, his mustache is all fucked as well.
Do any of you know?
Yes, don't know Waluigi, basically.
Of the extraordinary low wages of the Nippon Imperial Army pays it to expect those it expects to keep our country safe.
I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remains in place. And I have heard it is hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes.
All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son.
That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant.
The place is heavy with money. Every 3 days I go there to do raided contents for the target. And I'd enjoy chopping my way through a good steak at the same time.
It sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork, even, which is worryingly believable.
And your target that way was this old man and his Koban?
It was even more Miles Edgeworth than usual, I think, but it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, he's the descendant. It's fine.
It's true. It's
Descendant.
Yes, sir.
Ancestor is the word.
You're just making up words.
Getting accused of making up words here in a stream in which I do exactly that about a word that was most assuredly not my own. Damn. What a crime I've committed to this day.
That's true. How can you prove that word is real? Welcome to the gaslight part of the stream. It's really fun. Everyone loves it.
Speaking of gaslighting, we should play some perfectly normal Halo after this.
I have to download it. I'll do that tomorrow.
Bitch.
Bitch. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all.
If it helps, you could probably just install just Halo 1 and, like, you know, cut down the download by, like, a sixth. It'll only be a sixth. As in, cut it down.
Get the mod installed as well. Let's not bother today.
Alright, fair enough. A veritable phantom thief you are.
I was all set to leave the steak as I was halfway through devouring it when it happened.
Yes, when the professor was shot.
I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. I know too. So I had the incriminating evidence as fast as I could. On the double. I slipped it under the stake. Hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with that at a later date.
He doesn't make any mouth noises, he just exists. It's just ridiculous. Just everyone thinking it at the same time.
Yeah.
Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time. Well, Miss Brett.
Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. May the esteemed gentleman please excuse your excellency?
Indeed. The theft of the Koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder, except... I'm gonna make a save just because I can. How do I... I'm just gonna do it. I'm just doing it because I can.
Adventures.
It's true.
Just saw those words in it. Make me laugh.
Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Is she forgetting that that's the meat that was found on her table?
Oh, she knows.
Nonsense, is it?
Well...
Ooh.
As for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense, it's pure madness. Very well, now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave. Objection. Just do the objection already. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day.
Ryusuke, what's the matter with you? There's no time for daydreaming.
Oh, no, it's just... something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. Can't quite work out what exactly. Something she said jarred with me. What? There was a contradiction in there somewhere. Didn't quite add up. Yeah, no shit.
If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking. Make your voice heard.
Sorry?
You can't think later. But if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Objection. Hold it. Wait, Miss Brett! What is it now? I'm afraid, just one last time, there's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction?
What the new...
What the new student nonsense?
What?
Huh?
No, there's no the. There's just what new student nonsense is this?
Okay.
Student
What new
nonsense.
student nonsense is this?
When? What parting words are you talking about, Ryusuke?
Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense, it's pure madness.
Huh?
Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see evidence, counsel. Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory. Where is the evidence to prove it? The fact that the steak was that? The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed. Yes, go on. More accurately, Your Excellency.
Yeah.
The steak was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed.
Now you're just splitting hairs.
Not true. Doesn't something about this steak strike you as very unnatural?
Unnatural? What on earth do you mean?
It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. Ah. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. Notice what exactly, Counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork.
Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself.
Then take a good look at this steak. In particular, the edge where it's been eaten. It's been bitten, bitch. Chomped.
Chomp.
As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks here. Oh! Ah!
It looks like Miss Brett has realized something.
So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all.
But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry.
Ooh. She's getting close to breakdown.
Breakdown time, give it to me.
Oh, what did you say, dear lady?
As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer.
Of course. This will be over in the blink of an eye. But sure, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. Just leave everything.
I've heard enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic.
Of course, dear lady.
What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers?
Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She's realized the catastrophic implications these teeth marks in the steak have for her.
Rinosuke, do you know where you're going with this?
Yes. Now at last, it's all come together. God, this went so much further than I thought it would, I'll be honest. Holy
Huge
shit.
case, enormous case.
Mysterious teeth marks in a steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the blood stain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. Most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. It is a long
Yeah, I didn't believe that would be this long, though. Holy moly.
Yeah. But what exactly
You're
are you
right.
suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency.
Everything?
Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Who knows? Who knows, actually? That'll be interesting. Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase, typical Japanese empty threats.
How can you be so sure?
Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet.
Has it been? What?
But just because it hasn't been shown yet, it doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist.
This is absurd! The trial has run several hours already, and you say there's evidence that's yet to be brought forward? There can't be. I don't believe you have it.
I don't, but there is someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, we will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well, I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair?
Yup.
The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga.
What? I haven't.
Yes.
You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's what it...
No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on this steak with the teeth marks. Yes. Sorry, that was me, I forgot for a second.
Okay.
Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Corrector-san's coin, he told us that he slipped it under the steak.
You watch it, cadet. I'm a superior officer.
Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the steak that you put the coin under, in fact, your own steak?
Tin-chan? Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign lady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it.
In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
But that makes no sense. The plate was taken from the victim's table.
Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. No, just you, specifically.
Just you.
Well then, how do you explain this paradox?
Exactly. Surely you're not going to just suggest that the sergeant switched the two steaks over? You did switch the plates?
I thought she did it, but I guess he did it.
Oh, well, I mean, she was confused about it, so maybe.
Well, after it happened, when I saw the civilians had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my steak and hid the coin underneath it. But then when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. He decided to investigate my slab of meat. That'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance.
I actually thought she did it, damn.
We got tricked.
With the military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one on the foreign lady's table.
What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing.
It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done. Unbelievable! However, fear not, Prosecutor-san. What now? I swear on the brass buttons on my uniform. That is all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant. Yes!
So if Sergeant Nosa switched the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate it was on back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hosonaga.
Yes.
Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That, to preserve evidence, you had taken both. Ooh, she's upset.
Ooh, that's correct.
Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot. There it is. I like it a lot better than the Leighton theme, to be honest. It took me a while to get used to it in the what is it called? Unlimited Pursuit medley. Because this shows up in between the 5th games and the 6th games in that, because of course it does. That's the release order. And it took me a while to actually start liking this theme, but I do like it now, these days. And I've always, though that said, I always preferred it over the Leighton theme, which was at the end of it. I'm just kind of like, meh, about that one. This one is just lit now. Now that I have more context, this theme is even better.
Yeah.
What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat. It can't have the slightest bearing on the case.
Objection! No, you're not rigging your way out of this time, lady.
I beg your pardon?
Surely you're not that forgetful.
Surely you remember the reason why this steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you? No?
You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me.
The reason the defense asked to see what that plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing.
Thinks he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear splattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest.
I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett.
We're gonna absolutely fucking destroy her, I'm so excited. Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and the plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident.
Yes, sir.
God, he really gets his moment in the sun. I feel good for him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sorry for keeping you.
Bam, there it is.
Here's the other steak and its plate. Please feel free to examine it.
I wasn't sure about him at first, but I'm definitely about it now. Bloodstain. It's clearly visible, look!
Yes!
Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me.
In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim.
Ah!
It can't be.
It's exciting. In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. Do we see the breakdown yet? Not almost. That's right, Miss Giselle Brett. It's you! Breakdown time. Give it to me. Show it to me! The future I truly desire!
You're crazy. Oh, no.
I had to press enter as well. How it's done? By a Japanese? Me? By a Japanese schoolboy? No. No. No! Do it. Ruin me. This one is actually alive. Yeah!
Thanks.
Oh my god!
Be free, my loved ones! Be free!
Everyone is just like, what is going the fuck on? A little black one. Black duckling.
Aww.
What the fuck?
Bye!
That was a truly ascendant...
Nature is beautiful.
That was a truly ascendant breakdown animation. Oh my god, I can't wait to see the rest of this game. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure.
We love it. Keep it up.
Most unbecoming behaviour for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me. Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time. Gladly, Your Excellency. I guess we're just not going to see her eyes ever. It's true.
These words.
It's true, though. It's absolutely true. It was I who took the professor's life using curare. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. Damn.
So, you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water. Because curare is unheard of here in Japan.
Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water and it would all be over. I placed the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone. I leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact you decided to come over and greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. Yeah, you can't see the hat very well at all. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair. Made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. No going back at that point. So I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment.
A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man.
I happen to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt.
Under your skirt?
So I was right, there were 2 guns. Yes. Then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Placed where you were sure that I would notice it. Everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I'd intended. Then, just as you bent down to pick it up, bang! That's when you shot the professor with your own gun, even though at that point he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared.
Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside.
That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around.
Because of course. You needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he'd picked up the gun.
Mega ellipses. Mega ellipses. Mega ellipses. Stop. So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Are you kidding me? That's more than a misdemeanor. Your Excellency. Yes. I wonder... Might I speak with you in private later?
I'll do it.
I shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san.
No, you freak. Go away. Oh. Gone.
Yeah, a little harmless murder.
Nothing like a little murder to spice up life.
It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement?
This can't be. Takatsuchi Ryuichi does not lose.
Rookie killer, huh?
Not to the likes of this student.
Get fucked, my dude.
You'd better start getting used to tough opposition.
Ryusuke Naruhodo.
What? Yes?
This insult to the Aoichi family name will never be forgotten.
You've become conceited with age, Counsel. But the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. But you never forget that. I'm a fucking samurai, bitch. Hold on.
Undone the top knot.
Oh, the reveal.
It's beautiful.
And with that, the family heirloom was created.
Yes.
1,000 millennia may pass, and still the Aoichi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. The curse of Kazuma. Good strong.
This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. I thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence introduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. You know, when America rocked up and said, damn it, open your country, stop having it be closed. There we go, made the joke. There we go, done it. Open your country, stop having it be closed. Bill Wirtz is a genius, by the way, just honest to God.
I need to listen to his music more.
Yes, it's insane. The music is batshit, and the fact that he taught himself to 3D animate as well,
it's great.
I just look at it and I go, damn, I really need to just learn things, huh? Because that's incredible. Things that can be made when you try, when you actually try.
True.
But the Western ideals of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits, but what will it look like? I cannot begin to imagine. What it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Into the year 2042. Kazuma Asogi.
Yes?
After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can, absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you.
I understand, Your Excellency.
What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden?
Never mind.
As for you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, yes? In you I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Oh.
It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant Ryunosuke Naruhodo not guilty.
The classic one.
Amazing.
And yeah, it's Sakura leaves. Let's go.
That's beautiful.
I was like, are they gonna do it?
You thought you actually expected the Sakura?
Yeah, I was like, it can't be confetti, can it? Yeah.
This course is now adjourned. It makes sense that it's Sakura.
Lovely.
After when the case is over, I need to go to the loo so bad. Gotta wait though. Gotta hold it in though. Hold it until we're done. 22nd of November, 2:46 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber. Number 5! Number 5! Number 5! Anyway, I'm gonna stop now. had to be done. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. The music is great.
Ah, Yunosuke. You finally pulled it off. Congratulations.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma.
No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So, you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from the place on Yume University Street. Don't forget.
Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. I'm assuming it's the... Oh. Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence.
Ah, now trusted you do so, assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know.
Oh no, I didn't do anything. Thank you so much! If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Ah, yes, of course. Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, judicial assistant to the defense. Damn it, I couldn't even get the line right. Disappointed in myself.
Got the name, though.
I almost got it. I half got it. Speaking of Mikotoba. Ah, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order, I'm assuming. I'm assuming this time. Yes! Naruhodo, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you. After all, your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Good friend? Oh, yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right.
Professor Mikutobo studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably that's when you met Dr. Wilson?
Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together?
I've never heard you mention that before.
Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, Asogi. Asogi. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world in science, medicine, engineering, culture, and, of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot.
I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Asogi clan.
You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you?
Of course I am. The Japanese man's katana is his soul. This blade shows me where I need to go. It cuts down anything that's in my way.
Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. Literally splitting hairs at one point.
Yeah, true. That reminds me, what's happened to that woman? To Giselle Brett, I mean. After all, she's guilty of murder.
He is not. Ah, yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit, after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future for Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Giselle Brett will not appear in court again in this country, I'm certain of that. What? But why not? Matter of consular jurisdiction. Ah, your guy. Inspector Hosonaga.
It was a hard battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate.
But what's all this about consular jurisdiction?
We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan.
What? We can't try her? But then who? Who's going to bring her to justice?
A British consular court will hear a case somewhere far away where our voices can't be heard.
But why a consular court?
Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we signed the Friendship Treaty.
Yes, in normal circumstances you're right.
Then, so long as this is not a serious incident of highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke a consular court just like that.
Oh, can't they?
Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our governments making us secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on.
So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. I'm afraid that for the young student, today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it! That is actually fucked. What the hell?
That's fucked up.
Why? Who is she?
The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously.
But it's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil, this new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves.
Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it.
Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But, Professor...
All right, this is no time for gloomy faces.
Really?
Yep. Easy to convince. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun.
I mean, I guess.
Don't be sad. It's just that simple.
In that case, might I suggest La Carnival? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink.
You're a detective, Hosonaga-san, aren't you?
Let's not worry about details for now.
Yeah, like the fact that you're bleeding and shit from your mouth.
La Carnival, will you accompany us, Professor?
Of course, La Carnival's food is second to none. I shall go and attend to the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. Oh, yes, thank you. So Giselle Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Yeah, that's the thing. Motive is why.
It's true.
Kazuma.
Yes, Ryunosuke?
I just wanted to say thanks again, that's all. You really saved my skin today.
Well, I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? That defense was all your own work.
Your skills made the difference, though. One day I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world.
I'm not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become the great lawyer, not me.
Some kind of Daigakuten Saiban, if you will.
Yes, you could say that.
Except that actually means like great overturn court, or big overturn court, rather than actually, great ace attorney. That's the thing. That's the problem. Translation. What? Come on, be serious.
If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer.
Yo, natural talent, that's a good mod.
There we go.
Oh no, not me. All that tense verbal combat? I never want to go through that ever again. I just did what you told me to do, that's all, because I knew I could trust you.
That's the point.
Sorry? What do you mean, that's the point?
Listen, Ryunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win?
Knowledge of the law?
No. The ability to believe.
To believe? To believe what? Believe in Speeve?
A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times.
Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it.
I'm human just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a choice about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful is to what you choose to believe in, even then, well, that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person.
Believing in your client.
Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stop believing in me.
Yeah, don't stop believing. As I said, we already made the joke.
We're in love with that science. We're in love with each other. What?
I mean, you know what? It's probably true. Well,
You face seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you never stop looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it. Through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. They're just very close friends who happen to live together for their entire life.
Yeah, exactly. They're never married. They had several cats together, you know. Thanks, Kazuma.
There's something I wanted to ask you, actually, Ryunosuke.
Our roommates has
Well-
2 O's and 2 M's. Thank you, Claudia.
This is the new Roomba name.
Romates. They were Romates. Sorry. I know I make spelling errors all the time, but I really like ones that you can do as like
spelling
a
in the group chat.
Spelling in the group chat.
Sorry, typo in the group chat.
Typo in the group chat.
Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me.
Tomates. We take those.
Oh, nailed it.
Nailed it. Perfect.
Thoughts
Perfect.
joke.
Official. It's official.
It's okay.
That was a good comeback. That was a good comeback. I love it. Sounds serious. What is?
You're still here, are you?
And let me just check something. As a favor, something very important. I just wanted to make sure I knew what was because that's true. It wouldn't be the grandfather. That's like a ways away, like great grandfather.
Yeah.
Something like that, because this is like before the 1900s.
1901.
Oh, Inspector Hosonaga, you're still bleeding from the mouth.
So, my look. I thought I'd stick with it. I've been some rickshaws for us. Let's go.
1890s. Yeah, exactly. See, before the 1900s.
Ah,
yes, my grandfather was born in the 1890s too.
I'm getting uncle vibes. Let's pick up this conversation again later.
No, that would be two greats, because my actual grandparents were born around World War II-ish. Yeah, no, that'd be great-grandfather. Especially because Phoenix is about as old as... I want to say about as old as I am? Maybe a little older, but not by much. Trust me, I assure you. Great-great-grandfather. I know how numbers and times work.
We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory.
And your study tour to Great Britain, don't forget.
Yes, that too. I didn't realize at that moment.
So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma. Professor Mikotoba. Susato-san, who acted as my assistant. Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still.
Bitch, he did.
It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. More importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his...
Favore.
Did you see that?
Oh yeah, on your stream. I didn't see it on Discord. That was weird.
Yeah. I guess the frame rate on Discord was too low for it to show up, but yeah.
Thank you.
Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize, oh no, just how much it would change my life.
And? Congratulations, the toilet is yours.
Defense debut! See, nobody can see, but I got another Steam achievement. Another achievement.
Nice. So now on to Ace Attorney 2.
Excuse me?
It's a trial per game. They really had to make do with what they had. Games these days.
Huh? The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. It's like...
Cool.
Huh? And Naruhodo. Wakarimasen. Wakarimasen.
Cool.
I'm gonna press back, I guess.
Maybe go to the toilet.
I'm gonna go
at this moment.
Yeah, well, okay, fine. I will be back.
And then we'll continue.
I will be back!
I know.
We're back. Ha! We're back. I bet you didn't expect that shit. Question is, we gonna keep playing? Because I assume
Let's play a little more.
Let's play a little more. It'll be fun. I pressed Z. Nothing happened. There we go. The intro of the runaway room. That looks fun.
You can just skip.
That's insane. Whoa.
Oh.
That's incredible. I love you can do
Why
that.
can you go back?
You couldn't go back in time.
Wait, did you go? Oh, you went all the way to the end. Got
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's because this is the first one. The unbreakable speckled band. What does that mean? Hey, excellent.
Lovely.
Let's start playing from the start of this episode. The unspeakable speckled band.
It doesn't continue or whatever.
I think that's fine, honestly. It means you can choose to just go into the thing.
True.
Oh, yeah?
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern's shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
Incredible. That sure was a Sherlock Holmes moment. 9th of January, 6:37 a.m. on board the steamship Lollipop. What?
Man, we're on a boat.
Anime stuff. Anime moment.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this will appear to be a locked room mystery.
Oh, classic.
In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. A most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality. This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait! Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This is murder. And it can be locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you? And where have you come from?
Is that Hosonaga?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Holmes. I presume
Yes.
you must have heard of me.
Okay.
Sherlock Holmes.
It's because the copyright still hasn't expired, Claudio. Yeah, they legitimately couldn't name him Sherlock Holmes because of the copyright.
Love copyright law. Love it.
It's definitely not a horrible fucking blight.
Give it to me. Give me their name. Give me the names.
Their names!
I want them.
Ah, my head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Wait. I can't move.
Oh, he was the one in the...
Yeah, he was the one in the...
God.
Mr. H. I can't name him Mr. H. I gotta say the name.
Herlock Sholmes is so great as like a defiance
Yeah.
to the copyright.
Yeah. Why am I in handcuffs? I'm assuming this is...
So you wake up now, huh?
Oh, it's this guy.
Little Sherlock.
I could do this guy if you want in that case.
Take him.
We had to drag you out of wardrobe. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. Do you... What? Background you to Arsène Lupin versus Herlock Sholmes by Maurice Leblanc. I see. You found me then. Sorry, I just wanted to do a Russian accent for it's been you got the last one, so I wanted at least one. Da, we found you. Now you pay. Criminal. With a K, I love it. How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, Ah, sorry. Now you have been found. It is time to admit your crimes. Confess to your crimes! Kill you in the Russian gulag, what? Want to find out how cold the ocean is, This is before all the gulags as well. Let's not forget. No, I'll tell you everything.
There's only one thing I'd like for you to know now.
And I'd like to know from what? I'd like to know from you. He said that.
No, go to one.
Oh, it's okay, never mind. No, but I've accidentally acquired all the
There's no way
characters.
to guess who it is. I don't understand why this is a visual novel thing. It's so annoying.
Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Mr. Sato. Wait. What did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma? He's dead. Fuck. I thought so. I knew this was coming. I guessed, rather. But still.
Shit. Valid tats.
You pretend you do not do. Yeah, valid tats. You've at least played the game, so it's all good.
Yeah.
You don't know. You're a wolf in the sheep's belt. I guess you can have the Russian guy if you want, just because I am now doing the other two people.
You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses.
And yeah, it is definitely Mia all over again. Yeah, that definitely wasn't French. That was definitely... What? Kazuma-sama's body was discovered not long ago. Here, in this very cabin, that was bolted shut from the inside. His body?
Which one's the Russian? This one?
Yeah, there's only one.
Oh.
We've only seen one sailor so far, but they're all, apart from Osanaga, they're all
Please.
Russian, it looks like.
Do not try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep.
Kazuma's dead? But he can't be. These handcuffs. Surely you don't think I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please! No. No!
Bro.
Absolute bro moment. Kazuma Shoji. Was just 2 short weeks ago. Short wrecks ago. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble?
Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study?
It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor. I thought I was just going to die.
Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my truck. You must be even less than a man than you look.
Hey, honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body.
Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain.
Doc!
But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you.
I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway.
They're a dirty bunch, that's for sure.
What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady?
From our faithful judicial assistant Mikotoba, you mean?
Mikotoba. Mikotoba.
Meek. Boo.
What? From your close friend, more to the point, surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away.
No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this.
I suppose so.
Anyway, it's about the time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you'd better get in there, I think. I won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze.
Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it.
Roaring. I'll tell you what. Why don't you write "keep out" or something on this piece of paper?
What?
Then I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside.
I don't know. I've only been at sea for about 15 days. How could this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England together.
We leave you in that spot. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer!
No, I'm not a murderer.
Nah, you said that before. You said you'll admit to everything about your crimes.
No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on this ship, but murdering my best friend.
No one else could have done it. Admit that truth.
Susato-san. Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there is something I would like to ask of you too. Ah, those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. She is actually super pretty though, holy shit.
You.
At this point, I want to give them both a hug because that sucks. Like this is a real that's rough buddy kind of moment.
For real. What a way to start a case.
Yeah, I suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened. Ah, here we go. This is the talking and stuff. That's how it works. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream. These handcuffs. They think I did it. They think I'm Kazuma's killer. When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be opened from outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these four walls. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. I don't know. Does that work? I can't tell.
Yeah.
Or do you have some other explanation? Well, I'll take it. I'll take that. We'll take those. Nothing will compare to their actual voice actors, of course, but, you know, that's because there's people who are actual trained voice actors who, you know...
Yeah.
Does, like, absolute quality.
It's their goddamn job.
It's their job. This is impossible. How did he die, then? What happened exactly? Are you still going to deny the charge, even despite the circumstances? Please, Susato-san, you have to tell me. I'm just talking to myself at this point. Lamau. Lamau.
I'll be there soon enough.
Yeah. Herlock Sholmes. The cause of death is still undetermined. I don't know how he died. The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course he has no post-mortem analysis experience.
Good luck,
Bye! I don't suppose we should learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then. That's true, yes. So I guess he was poisoned. Why not? He could have been poisoned again, you never know. Can't anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? Presumably that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please. Whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but... He would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Susato-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? I knocked, but there was no reply. And I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside... There was Kazuma-san, collapsed on the floor. Shit. The white tape there shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. It's all very hard to believe for me too, trust me. Now I've told you everything that I know, so it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. Oh, my head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing like anything. Ooh. I like how they add the extra things, rather than just flipping them the same thing around over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Why are you even on board this ship, Naruhodo-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes, I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you have occupied Kazuma's cabin for so long without him noticing? No, that would have been impossible, obviously. What?
Earth, Wind, Fire, Vivo. I'm clicking.
Oh,
listening.
what? Okay.
Oh. Do you remember?
It's... Oh, I see. We just...
That fucking day, baby.
It's that day. Bean, come on. Come on, Bean. What are you fucking doing? What are you fucking doing?
I approve this message.
Ah. Has it
I
been...
literally looked at my phone this morning and I did like a triple take. Oh, what?
Sometimes you just have to wonder if you remember the 21st. Yeah.
It is the night. True.
I see. It was a ping in another server that we're both in as well, where someone used their once a, I think it was once a week or something, ping to everyone that is a patron, to just specifically to do that.
Really good. Worth it, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful. What happened? You're back.
Live news from Tatsuyama.
Yes, of course. What's up? What's up, Tats? We alright? Things okay? Are we fucked? Have they cancelled Standard? Okay. Front straws and crits got restricted to 8 in Standard. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. So you can't run 16 of anything. That's... Okay. Sure. No 12 crit, no 16 crit, no nothing. Alright. Alright, that's a thing. We should also keep playing the game, but I'm also just too interested in these rules changes. That's the problem. And
Yeah,
maybe next week.
FLA.
Save that shit. FLA. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? I'll see, that's... But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. I feel like I've lost her voice now. Fuck. I don't remember if I'm doing the same thing or not anymore.
It sounds good.
Kazuma, why do you want to do this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you?
It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial.
The game is about it's about Vanguard, the card fight game that we were talking about. This is like massive rules changes brought to us in an official stream, like right now, basically as of 5 minutes ago.
Yes. I told you then, didn't I, that you also become a lawyer yourself?
Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious.
You have a talent for it. I can assure you of that.
But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer.
Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. Can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Apart from the 50-day trial journey.
That's true. In which you could get fucking murdered or something, apparently. Well, no, definitely not.
But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then...
Then what?
Nothing. Forget it.
Hmm? Kazuma-sama he was always saying the same thing, that he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought he could do that with you. Yes, maybe, but something's still bothering me a little. The look in his eyes, then. It was darker than I've ever seen before. Susato-san. I'm sorry that we kept it a secret from you, my stowing away on this ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. Well, perfect, in fact. If you're not the culprit, then tell me, what happened last night here in this cabin? Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. That's unfortunate. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep. Well, yes. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed. Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable, really I do, but it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. I'm gonna just check my volume mixer, just in case that thing has turned itself up from the 4% it should be at. Oh my god, it's still at 2%. And it's so fucking loud. To me. That makes it too quiet, though. I literally can only change it to, like, 1%. Alright, whatever, fuck it. I think his friend would still be dead. He just might have, you know, known something about it. For some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Is something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Please, forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me. I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there is no one else who could possibly have done this. I'm just excited to do even more locked room murder investigations in Umineko as well, eventually.
Yes.
We need to get to that. But I also really want to enjoy this game, that's the problem.
Why did you think of Umineko?
Locked room murders. This is a locked room mystery right now.
Welcome to the locked room stream.
Yeah, lock Lock. I feel like I need to make some kind of, like, joke title card thumbnail for, like, locked room murder streams, but something to do with, like, link joker locking as well, because I'm an idiot. And I'm a very one-note kind of person. Anyway.
Follow your dream.
Follow my dream, follow my heart. Lock everyone else. Lock. Well, Ryunosuke is in a bad way. Umineko, yeah, that's the... Once we're done with, like, Ace Attorney stuff, I really want to play Umineko, because I want to say 6 years ago at this point, I made my way through the entire story by watching the anime and then reading the manga. So I've never actually played the games, except for, like, a brief attempt to try and play the first one, where I did not get very far. And I figure, what better place than, you know, on stream with Luca after we do all this Ace Attorney stuff. It'll be fun. Yeah. It'll be good. I really want to play it. And part of me is tempted to put off Spirit of Justice, to be honest, just so we can start Umineko. But, I don't know. We'll decide that once we're done with this game, of course.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Umineko has amazing music, and it's just... There's just good things that I remember, and a lot of things I don't, which is very cool. I'm very happy about... I've realized there's quite a lot that I don't remember from the story.
I'm very happy about your poor memory.
Yes. For once, my goldfish memory is great, even though I know the end. Technically, I know the exact end, but there are a whole lot of things I don't remember along the way, meaning I can still be surprised, and I still won't know everything, and it'll be an almost blind game, sort of, maybe, kind of. Hard to explain. Yeah. But Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? Why are you dead? Why did this have to happen? I can't take this. I can break these cuffs. You can't break those cuffs. I'm sorry, I had to do the whole thing. I'm sorry. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry. But Kazuma was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around, my hands tied, while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what did you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Kazuma's life and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Hiya!
Hiya! Did like a spin dive.
I totally believe that. That's actually incredible. I'm like genuinely excited that she knows how to do that. That's incredible. What the? That was a Susato takedown.
Ooh.
Excellent.
Title. Drop.
Susato? What? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry? Prove it?
Good camera. As well.
Yes. Your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to? Have you forgotten already what you achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. Ah, I see. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. Do I have... I see. Well, yeah, it must be.
Yeah, you can't enter that by yourself, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly, that's one of the things. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime. Wait, hang on. Do I have a defense badge? University collar pin. Collar pin. That's great.
Nice.
Yes!
Yes! M. Bison, tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes it was. I remember clearly. I thought so. Kazuma always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. Just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah. Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. Damn, that's some solid evidence right there.
Easy.
Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Yeah, he can't do it by himself.
Weak.
Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating in here, at least. Thank you, so finally believe me. I'm sorry, no. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that he used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position.
What are you saying?
Does she think I am a magician? For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Susato-san. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating in here, examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. You know what fucking time it is. Susato-san, about this. I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san, but we don't have time to waste on anything else. We must find clues. She looks serious. Really, quite deadly serious.
Oh man.
Came back agree to say that the trigger effect on Friday. That's not bad. That's pretty quick. Damn, this is great. I'm gonna make a save, because saving is good. Yeah. The unbreakable speckled band. Did you know the diamond is unbreakable? Bet you didn't know that, did you?
I've never seen one. How would I know?
How would you know? Can I move? Handcuffs and under house arrest by the crew, not to mention Susato-san's constant glares. I think it's fair to say that I'm stuck in this cabin, for the time being at least. Should focus on investigating in here to see what I can find out. Makes sense. Okay. I like this examine, and instead of talk, it's converse. I love that.
Hey, we're so fancy. Oh.
So I should see what this Russian crewman makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me.
What?
Bled. I was wondering how it's going, the investigation, I mean.
Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it's not true, I see.
Sorry?
Criminally asking for investigator for information about this crime? Very funny.
Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. Might have useful information, though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all?
Yes, of course not. Now back to your corner of the room and make sight. I say no more to you.
Love my fucked up Russian accent.
Fucked up Russian, French, Frussian, if you will.
So stupid.
Did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. I guess something did happen last night.
Oh?
Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Ah, yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? Is this like rotating the room or whatever? Can I rotate the room in my mind? Yes! Oh, wait, no.
No. Oh, I can't do the whole 360.
Damn. I'm sure you're careful to look around using BM. BM? Why B and M, not B and N? Like,
That's weird.
That's... ZXCV? No? Like, what's happening? Why is it like this?
Naruhodo, press Alt F4 to expand screen.
I think I can, but I'm not 100%. I just find that very funny that it's BM as well. Of all keys, it's BM. You can look around using BM. Now, let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do that. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now.
Turn off that FOV. Turn that shit up. There we go.
Cyrillic. Let's do it. Did Kazuma write that before he died? Looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. So we're getting a traditional, like, a badge master.
Badger man.
Bitch monkey. Bastard man.
This is the stream now.
This is the stream, just BM. Just all the BM we can conceivably think of. It seems I'm having a certified Bean moment, or I would if Bean was here.
God.
I'm waiting for it. It's the true BM. If Bean were here, then I would, anyway, give hugs, probably, most likely. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. Then I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. I think I was going to say, we're having a classic, that clearly the person you wrote using the killers, like the killer wrote using the dead body's, like, finger. One of these moments.
I love that this, like, never gets old.
Yeah.
Like, every game.
Every Ace Attorney game, it's got to happen.
What? I might do the thing where they write the name.
I'm gonna do it.
To be fair, this is only this. I believe this is only the second time, unless it happens in Layton. This is, I believe, only the second time that this has happened in a Shutakami game.
True.
Because
I'm just thinking
5 was not a Shutakami game.
I'm just thinking like Danganronpa. Lots of other.
Yeah, but those games aren't Shutakami games. I don't care about that. Irrelevant. Unless it's in Umineko, it's irrelevant. That's how it works.
Got it.
Not even Higurashi. I don't even care about that. Even though apparently they are related universes still. Whatever. Danganronpa is.
Hey, we got a Dangan bang in the chat. Let's go.
Fanganropa. I don't know. Just Danganronpa is a game that exists, and I'm not going to play. It's that simple. That's just where I'm leaving it.
100. I support you in that.
Suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Oh, spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments, was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. Yeah, no shit. What? Then what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? Which means it's not English, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Look at that.
Oh, neat.
Good, I can...
I thought it actually left a checkmark in 3D space. That could have been cute.
That would have been cool, too. This is... Yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think.
Fancy.
Or the Russian guy. What do you mean, contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. It's really cute, actually. Just her thinking poses are really cute.
Yeah.
Goddamn. There was the Maya. Wait, there was
so many.
Wait, there was an Emma in. Oh, I forgot about 1.5. I mean, like I'm saying, Woods from 5.1 is not a Shutakami game. Maggie is. I completely forgot about the Maya from the Maya from the first one, and I just it's been so long since I played like Rise from the Ashes. I just didn't even Because that's not, especially because that's not in the anime, so I just wasn't even thinking about that one.
But it is straight up just like a trope in this genre.
Understandable. The Maya one, to me, that counts. The Emma... When was the Emma in one fight? Either way. Yeah, the Maggie one is the only one I could remember existing is the problem. Like, that, I just did not think of the Maya. That's it. Funny urn thing.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Vase. Thinking emoji. This is the new thing. I'm just gonna take a. I'm gonna take a screenshot so I can use this as like a thinking emoji.
Just formed an image over my mind of all the characters as bases.
Is that a new deleter? Excuse me? That's really good. What the fuck? That's actually incredible. I'm just putting this into things so I can eventually edit this into a better image shiro later. How did I'll just get a better crop maybe with a bit more hand and whatnot. There we go. I just want to get a couple of them so I can utilize one later to make an actual emoji. Sorry, I just had to do it. Vase attorney. It's true. Shall we give it a little try? Yes! In the interests of cultural research, obviously. I love her already. Yes.
Yeah. Waiter!
Nothing's happening. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. Oof. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy, that's all.
This also is a crime scene.
Pressing the spacebar, fuck you can't stop me. It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san? I think living isn't quite the right description.
Yeah. Imagine sleeping in that, oh my god.
Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. Last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. So much British. Oh, British.
I can smell the crumpets from here.
Fucking wasted this. This is great. Who needs to use the mouse when you could just wasted?
This is peak performance.
You may not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like. Wads. Yeah. This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kazuma, he didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means, what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Hiya! That's out of the question. Oh, what? Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? Alright, I won't read it.
The death stare.
Yeah. Poor Kazuma-sama. You know the problem with Black Quill being from a non-shooter Kami game is that means we won't get a Black Quill equivalent in these games, which makes me sad because I want Black Quill. I just want Black Quill. All this British is making me miss Black Quill.
We'll have a British guy for sure.
Yeah, no shit, we'll have a British guy. We already have Herlock Sholmes.
We got Bryson. The prosecutor will meet your tastes, I think.
Except for the racism part.
Except for the racism. That's true.
Yeah, Black Quill's in SOJ. I also know that he at one point is a what's the word? He's one of the he's part of the he joins the defense at one point. I don't remember. I don't know the context of it. I just know that he has sprites for being on the defense bench. So there's that. But you know, poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Spirit of Justice more like... Oh, I accidentally pressed Z. Damn it. Spirit of Justice more like Sergeant of Jury.
Nailed it.
More...
Sodge looks like a YouTube poop.
Oh,
word.
he does. Sodge. I know, more like something... The problem is there like an S word for like absence?
Solo.
No, because I was gonna say like a more like absence of jury, but you know, because they're really there ain't that shit.
Oh, true.
At least the lack of it makes more sense in Justice than it does in, or at least in the the overseas parts of Justice than it does in 5, because it's like, well, it's like another country where they're specifically designed to like, tell you to where the defense basically doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
It's designed to be unfair.
It's all.
Ooh. Abarpage, apologize. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Buria. Briat. To do it, I'm sorry. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Well, gee, pets I guess will come up.
Cool.
What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet?
Oh,
That's such a good burn. I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Speaking of dangerous objects, the sword... Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on this trip. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone, but I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet.
why a bone?
From the food. It's a food bone.
Okay.
That's my dinner from last night, a roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat it on the floor here? Yup. I am not a dog, Susato-san. I ate at the table, of course. Which begs the question when and how the plate ended up on the floor. That's debatable.
Hey guys, welcome to the fan theory. Is Naruhodo an animal?
An animal?
Is he a pet?
Is he a pet or a writing desk? If it's a raven or a writing desk? No? No, alright. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right, so he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on Earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible.
Shit.
Oh, now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. Ooh, unfortunate. Very unfortunate. I need to check an important thing. Oops. You know that feel when you have to check something important?
In the meantime, I'm gonna go.
Oh. Oh no, that's a lot more than I thought it was. Oh dear. Uh-oh. Tragic fate to not have things. Not have the food in your belly. There's times when I've really just gotta click and drag to be like, perfect. Perfect! What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener from a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? And the mark beside it, what was it, I wonder? It has some sort of brick-like hue. Hue. Yes, you're right, it's the colour of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same colour anywhere else in the cabin.
Cool. It's gravy.
It's a very large travelling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. Ah, yes, I see it says "this way up" in Japanese. Which, in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over. Then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. It's really just the bookshelf now.
Yeah, bookshelf.
The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look, they've all toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. I really feel like I'm getting like plane case vibes from AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost
Actually,
like
yeah.
we're on some kind of vessel.
In fact, it's the same. It's the same circumstances, isn't it? You're accused of murder, and then you have to solve it.
True.
While on the vessel. So, and then just I don't know, just vibes of like things having been moved being important. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, I know we're on a vessel, so it's similar. Yes, we've played not all but some of AI 1.
Off stream.
Off stream, yes. We have not played it on stream because the playing it is hard on stream.
It's good.
Yeah, it's fun. Everything, the whole shelf has been ransacked and everything mown down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, Naruhodo-san, in a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. But the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Well, I'm guessing. Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess.
Relatable.
Well, yes.
Table, maybe?
Table,
that as well.
Table, this is the only other thing I think I can interact with, maybe. I haven't checked. Seigi, the Japanese word for justice. The brush strokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy was always a reflection of his heart. Yet can you really look at those characters without feeling shame knowing who drew them so thoughtfully?
Oh.
Of course I can! I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to?
That's where food
Even though you stowed away on the ship? Oh, right. Now you're going to bring that up, are you? I can't win. Yeah, the table is interactable. There we go.
Nice.
There's nothing on this table at all.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
The plate and cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama. No.
There's more?
Well, there's the other half of the room to check as well.
Megaphone?
What?
Megaphone above the desk?
Nope.
The vent, top left?
That's pretty. That seems pretty sus to me.
Jesus.
That's how the imposter got out. The imposter who's likely disguised as a crewmate.
God.
I'm
God
sorry.
damn it.
I'm
It
sorry.
actually worked.
It's true.
Ventilator. That's number 3. Thanks for keeping.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for
Sounds
keeping the
better.
track. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. It's a shame Tats isn't here, damn. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to, you're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, flesh air, damn, surely it would be connected to the outside. Lamau. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough, or something like that. I suppose. Maybe that's it. Ah! Excuse me?
Oh, what the fuck?
Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he... You've noticed the man too, have you? No idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall. Naruto-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no, I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. I need to... How dare! How dare! No, it's the wow. That's the noise you're thinking of. And the dum dum dum.
I don't want to debate you about Moga's music. I'm sorry.
Look, it's just a shame that neither of it was Darude Sandstorm, that's all.
Sure.
As you know, that's the official song of something. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Susato-san look almost uncontrollably excited?
She knows.
By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case. If you press space on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Yes, I assure you, I'm aware. Are you ready to do the voice of Herlock Sholmes? Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment?
This is a critical point in my investigation.
I feel like you've almost gone too old with him a little bit there, but it still works.
Alright, let me workshop it.
It's alright. It's like it's almost there. It's like almost perfect. I don't know what it is about it.
Okay.
Do you know you're based on the thing anyway? Don't forget there's the trailer as well. You can quickly. You feel free to quickly like listen to that to just get a vibe.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best.
Greetings. Hope I haven't kept you long.
Ah. What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now?
I see. Fascinating.
Sorry, what do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me.
But no, yes. Everything is clear now.
I love that it's almost your judge voice, but it still works. It's not quite there, but it's still...
I just gotta not slow my words in and it won't be judged.
That's true.
The train of reasoning is run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken.
Excuse me? Sorry? What?
Now, whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you found yourself in the most troubling predicament.
Oh, well, that's true at least. But how?
How the Jews didn't know that? What? How the Jews didn't know that? Perhaps. This is really the most elementary introduction. I need to explain.
Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else?
But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being, as you are, the merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassinations in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the bereaved occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully.
What?
Daily time the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes.
Except apparently everything, since you got all of that fucking wrong. Just to be clear, you're talking about me, are you?
Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name.
Huh? I don't even see one person who fits the bill.
I mean, what about Chipman?
So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution too. It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen, there's no way I... Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. What the actual legitimate fuck is going on? How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you... What kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head.
But was I not right? As venturing toward foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not?
Well, yes, maybe.
There you have it, you see. What do you make of that,
Well, to be honest...
Suslock.
Now. The ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation.
Indeed. That observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of travelers, you see. I announce my findings with brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right.
I don't think you introduced yourself.
My apologies. Don't miss me. I'm none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The immutable Sherlock Holmes.
What?
Inimitable, I should say.
Did you say random guess Herlock is Ryuichi? What? As in, like...
I don't know what that means.
As in, like... Well, because Naruhodo Ryuichi is Phoenix Wright, so I don't understand what that... Huh?
Oh, yeah, what was his name in Japanese? Just Sherlock Holmes?
I'm pretty sure it was Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes, I'm assuming.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's both. I feel like he's going to be both the best and worst Sherlock version in anything, because whatever the hell just happened. But apparently Tats is like, I love him very much. So my guess is that we have yet to see the actual best of this man.
Yeah.
So it's really you, the actual Sherlock Holmes.
The very same. The imitable actual Sherlock Holmes.
Did you say Sherlock Holmes? If we just mess it up every time, I would love that, actually, to be honest.
Good bit, yeah.
Do you know this man, Susato-san?
Only from my anime.
The most famous detective in the world? Naruhodo-san, of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. Sherlock Holmes. Herhock. Hamhock Bones. What planet have I been living on, then? We must ask him what he's deduced. I love the chat right now. I'm a fan. I'm truly a fan of the chat. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? First of all, I'm going to present my attorney's badge. I mean, university collar pin. Very important. Imperial.
Huh?
901. I see. Devlog poems. Mr. Sholmes, what do you make of this?
Quiet. When I'm ruminating in the course of my deductions, nothing must disturb my mind.
Oh, so sorry.
Let it encourage, perhaps.
What's he ruminating about? The lunch menu?
Yes. Thinking about Subway. Thinking about those.
Bad pun groans.
I've never seen anything like this. Most extraordinary writing.
You said the same earlier this morning, I think.
Indeed, but it's uncommon as it's so remarkable, and I felt the need to say it anew. Yes, I do believe these characteristics may be a crude attempt at a Japanese script.
What? Mr. Naruhodo, I don't like to be the one to tell you this, but I think Mr. Sholmes is trying to say that your handwriting is a little untidy. Is he making fun of me?
Got him.
I've been got, apparently.
Subway is the sponsored.
I'd also like to point out that the move icon is the icon for the number 3, the moving room.
Fuck, I was gonna say use code SUSWAY to get 20% off. You beat me to it.
What is my chat? What is my stream? I love it. Don't get me wrong. But what the actual fuck is happening?
Always was.
It's always high noon somewhere in the world, unfortunately. How it be. That's just how it be.
Great detective.
Great detective, yeah. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again?
Indeed, I'm none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, I see. You're German. Herlock, was it?
No, I know her. I have hair. Please, call me Holmes.
That was actually a good use of the having to use the, that's actually that was pretty smart. I like that. Of having
Using
to use
what?
the, well, because they couldn't have made the joke about him being German, if his name was Sherlock Holmes. So purely because his name is Herlock, like that's actually, like that was actually pretty good, all considered. I wonder what the original version was. I'm curious.
Oh.
You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication.
Oh yes, Randst magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. Yeah, it's pretty good. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Ah, yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So you're the... Excuse me? Excuse me? Read names. Just read names, my boy.
So sorry, everybody.
So you're the protagonist in a series of short stories, then?
Indeed I am.
And you've read so many of your own stories, you've started to think you really are a detective.
Make no mistake, I'm not the poor, deluded fellow you may take me for. Your inference is good.
Backward?
My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine.
You have a biographer, do you?
Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London.
Wait. Excuse me? Dr. Wilson?
I must say, next to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late.
No, as in...
Why?
So the murder victim in the first case was Dr. Wilson. So that's a thing. Like, we know it's the Watson equivalent. We've already met him. He's dead.
Perhaps there's a double Watson.
Double Watson. Ame strikes again.
Why, this very moment I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown.
Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not.
Deductions, you see, is to me a science, logical reasoning in its purest form.
A science? Really?
The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. A furtive glance, twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin. All these things are data.
Right.
Then the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. And as demonstrated only a few short moments ago.
How can he look me in the eye and claim that?
So, you see, I've returned both for observation and for deduction. Then fail. That is what makes me the one and only Sherlock Holmes.
Okay. That was an absolute moment and a half. That was such a long conversation thing, I've forgotten we'd started what it was.
You just wake up like in a daze. Where am I? Oh, I'm talking to Sherlock Holmes. Oh, God. I'm in love with the like little moves he does. I don't know what's up with that, but
it's because he's a JoJo reference, obviously.
Oh yeah, sure. That's how that works.
He's become a JoJo reference, probably. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet?
Have I managed to deduce anything? Dear fellow. Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all of the crew members to force the cabin door open.
And I consider myself among their numbers, gaining an entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Sherlock Holmes was on board. And the handcuffs seemed to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo.
Ah.
The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me.
Oh, really? 2 facts, you say? Oh, never mind. We do get the flip face alert.
Time.
Quick flip time. Mr. Sholmes, tell us please, what 2 facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning?
Ah, yes. But first, let us be precise. The 2 facts in question were immediately apparent to me.
Yes, I understand, but what were they?
Allow me to educate.
Elucidate.
Elucidate.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Sholmes.
No problem. The 2 facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1. The cabin was locked from within, rendering escape from the culprit out of the question. Number 2, the victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance.
Hold on, Mr. Sholmes. What makes you think the victim was Russian?
Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. Blah 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 blah. That is the Russian word for wardrobe.
Dude, do you really think Kazuma-sama would have left a dying message in Russian?
In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. And this young man, Russian.
Kazuma was Russian, was he?
Initially, I considered Guy de Rob maybe the name of the killer. A certain Robert Guard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least.
Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly.
Quite so. I found you. The renowned Russian revolutionary killer.
Why is it that I'm Russian too?
I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. You are now Russian.
you are Russian. Askar uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people. I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong.
I love the fuck. Forget the name. That's like a what's magician's name? Magician girl.
Trucy?
Trucy pose. Sorry.
The Trucy pose. Is that like the hand of the mouth?
Yeah.
Or? The Trucy pose. The
Trucy
truest
pose.
of poses.
Oh, that's me.
I took a photograph of the victim and the message. That I might analyze it for possible hidden details.
This
was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed.
Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, thank you. The photograph of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. Can I ask you something, Mr. Holmes?
What, pray?
You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all of that.
Ah, yes. The train of reasoning that led me to the truth.
Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? I'm assuming that says Horosho, it's my guess. Yeah, that's Horosho, which is kind of like a certainly in Russian.
Okay.
Like that.
I thought you could read the phonetic.
No, I wish, but it's
like, okay.
That's...
Sure, certainly. You?
Yeah. How many times? I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. Can we talk about your deduction before the things you concluded about me, I mean?
The now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in.
Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part.
Yes. The more sordid details.
Sordid.
That was fairly... Yeah, sorry. It was fairly commonplace deduction.
There you go. Apologies, I will correct you on words, I'm sorry, but...
Go for it, I like it.
Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads... Yes, we get the paper on the boat, it's normal. Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russian via Shanghai.
Okay.
This vessel made a port at Shanghai yesterday, and last night, the young Russian was murdered.
Since when was Kazuma a Russian? Sounds like Mr. Sholmes concluded that he was Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor.
It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was in fact the same merciless revolutionary. One who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his tragedy was discovered. Yes, you, villain Bolshevik.
No, how could it be me? I don't look anything like this man, just look at his face.
Well, you are fearsome revolutionary, after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. You like my moves? Oh, I think they're pretty cool.
I want to fucking slap him. Oh, please.
And I might add, name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more?
Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower.
Ah, yes. The journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particularities in the article.
We've just discovered that Naruhodo Ryunosuke is in fact villain Bolshevik, the Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16, who's going to London to destroy the Crystal Tower. This is things that we have learned.
I can't believe they didn't tell us this
I can't
earlier.
believe we didn't know about that. Yeah, what an absolute time that Ryunosuke is having. He's going, well, fuck.
Yes. The deeds of the man has been perpetrated thus far, and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake.
Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? Yeah, I saw that. I really want it. Just based on what you posted in the Discord, I really want that card. I love Delety Boys. They're so good. And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan?
Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik has recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan.
Stride fodders in G are going to be double R's. Huh? Wait, I'm confused. Stride fodders are an old concept. Why would they now be... Oh, for Zero. Oh, I was like very confused as to what you meant. And then the Zero clarification did help, yes. I was like, wait, old cards are now going to be double R's? Why not? Huh? They actually no, they were double R's in real life originally. That's why. Like the original prints of Stride fodders were double R's from what I remember. So that actually makes sense. It's annoying, but it makes sense. Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan place.
Yeah, take the paper for yourself. As a little memento on this great deduction.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, double R's are doable.
I've absorbed all of that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. You'll have to do.
Yes, I am indeed trash. Relenting's there, but yeah, cool.
And you may find the article on the back page of the interest as well.
On the back.
Pass right over to some time of interest the interest takes you. You may need someone to interpret.
It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. I'm gonna open the court record and find out. No! Is that her?
No.
This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting.
Oh.
I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I, but look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She's very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it.
Nah, I'm glad you noticed this article.
Ah.
Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents.
I didn't think they were rares. That doesn't seem right to me. I could be wrong. I now need to Google it. I'm sorry. I need to put this on hold to Google. I don't worry. I remember the name of one of the GBTO1 stride fodders. Oh. Now that's odd. Why do I remember them coming out as double R's? That is very odd. If they were always rares, why were they so hard to get? I guess because they were only printed once until Revival Collection Volume 2. Wow, yeah, that would do it. That'd fucking... And promos, I guess, but still. Very odd. Very, very, very odd. Yeah. Oh, well, whatever. It's fine. Sorry, did you read that line? Apologies.
Yes, I read that one.
Okay. Oh, thank you. He pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes.
I've in your dreams, in your mind, in your dialogue. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the ENVtuber ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She's, of course, the talented and young Nikolina Pavlova.
Why are Russian names so hard to remember?
Just think of the cake, the Australian cake, Pavlova. It could appear that the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room. Wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth 20,000 rubles.
Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Susato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves.
The tiara is the property of the ENVtuber ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry.
Yes, I'm not surprised.
The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain.
Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo.
You fucking twat. What the hell? Why would you say that?
Well, I love that the thing has become the article about that instead of the article about this. That's incredible.
Truly. Rotate it.
I'm rotating it in my mind.
Okay.
I did it. I rotated it in my mind.
Oh, there's two.
Oh, the higher res version is the other thing. That makes sense now.
Got it.
We just got an autosave even. Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you?
Kazuma? Ah, yes, the victim.
Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all?
Observe for a moment. The desktop of the victim.
It was absolutely... It was littered with icons. It was badly managed.
And for some reason they have a default Windows XP background. They think they're cool or something. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text.
London Diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. Ah, but... I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people.
Tragic. That's something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading.
Excuse me?
Elucidate, I should say.
You mean you've read it already? second. I need to check the deletor card. I'm sorry, it's very important. I need to read it. It's got 2 effects. It's very important.
It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, they know a smattering of Japanese.
A smattering, you say? Hang on.
No.
Even nature from rare. Okay, what is the sorry, I'm just checking the thing. Okay, I guess, but it's a thing. All right, whatever. I'll look at this other stuff later. I know what the card does now, and it's interesting. Then in casual matches, that sounds like a really bad time. Casual in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links was anything but. If you wanted to actually have a fair game, you actually had to play ranked. Like, that's just how that works.
Weird.
Hathamoga draws a card on trigger checking. A draw and a crit? Excuse me? Huh? Huh? That's fucked. That's incredible. Why don't we have that in real life? Can you imagine that, Luca?
Disco Sting.
That would just be... That's fucked. I love it. Yeah, it does. Ah, so if you damage it, you draw, but if you drive it, it's a crit. I see. That's really fucking cool. And it does mean that it's a reason to run a grade 0 card in 0. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Nothing happens. Nothing happened. Susato-san, aren't you going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair.
Anyway, let's not to return to the matter at hand. Maybe this diary belonged to the victim. It would appear that the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of this writing? Pray be precise as to details.
Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese.
A smattering, D-boy, a smattering. Sayonara, Bonsai, Ricardo, Nanado. I trust you're suitably impressed.
Ha.
But this story is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none.
Kanji. So what was all that showing off about before, then? If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes.
Okay.
I'm much obliged, my dear madam.
That's a good bow.
Very good.
The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound?
These are very deep waters. Pray, go on.
The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. He was snaked. Ooh. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I've never heard that expression before.
The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin.
Yes, the adjoining cabin. Diary was... Yeah. Thing. Let's go between card shops and 0 when she comes out. That new character fights. You can go between stores and do 10 hard and very hard. That's fucking lit. What the hell? That's so good. What? Bean, I heard you laugh. What's funny about that? Rip in peace gear. No, Chrono's dad. Chrono's dad exists, probably. That's my guess. I have no idea. The Tachi player in G is actually introduced in G next, or at least the main one is. Oh, yeah, but Chrono's dad also plays Tachi, is what you mean. Sorry. Yes, Chrono's dad plays both Tachi and Gears, because he's just that cool. Dinosaurs and robot dragons.
Yup.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. Anyway, go for it. Read the line.
So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least.
Ah, do you have somewhere to go?
As it happens, the victim's writing in this diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe. If I'm still too long, the ceaseless takes hold.
Oh, I suppose you're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to.
Great detectives are curious breeds. Our mind rebel at the stagnation. We crave mental exhalation. Exaltation.
Okay. And I need to check that now. He can't really. He's 34. This man's is 34.
Damn. Aged like fine wine.
Absolutely. Delicious. Delicious. Ah, pretty. Well, sure, but still. I figured that was the case. Waiting.
I thought you were going to say that. So, yes, I intend to investigate, and the truth will become clear soon enough.
Do you think perhaps that we could go with you?
No. That would be somewhat complicated.
What? But why?
A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer.
Oh, these...
After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No?
There's no point trying to turn it into a question. Oh,
See
bye,
that?
Tats. Have a good... You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place.
Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point.
Huh?
You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago.
Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I have no cause to say such a thing.
Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too.
You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I would have said you had the face of a criminal, you know. Not really.
So, what? Were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are.
Well, anyway, that was then and this is now.
What do you mean?
What I mean, sir, is this. If you're the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate.
Now he's just being plain rude. What the hell is going on? I'm so confused. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Naruhodo-san, what are you just standing there for? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? So I can...
Oh!
Why? Hiya! After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? You're just going to roll over and accept your fate? As if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this, and bring the real culprit to justice. But my question is, what is there? What could I possibly?
Can we talk to the guy?
Because we've looked at everything, right? It must be the guy, because I can't think of anything else it could be. Everything else is marked as done.
Done.
Oh, the door is a thing I can look at. Hang on, let me just... Nope. Totally, but I can't find anything out of place. Can I just... I want to click that, that's why. Excuse me.
What?
I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Would you mind if I investigate a little outside?
Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes. But I see not true. I see. So,
Sorry?
a criminal asking prison guard to help him escape? Very funny.
We're in the middle of the sea. There's no chance of me escaping.
Yes.
You stay in this cabin until next port. And it's up to Hong Kong police to decide what they will do with you.
Oh, you stay away.
Alright. There's no point trying to appeal to this man's better nature, that's for sure.
Is the door frame a separate thing? The handle?
Apparently.
Yes.
When he said door frame, I genuinely thought you were talking about wall frame for a second, and I was confused. When I went for help and the crewmen forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small boat and not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. It's true.
Yes.
When she glares at me like that, I feel tense. I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. I love that she had a book in her like sleeve. That's actually cool. I think that's a real thing that I'm in, like storing stuff in your
That's the
sleeves.
Bible.
The Holy Bible.
the classic detective story, the Bible.
But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. The glare. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. Oh. Oh, look over there. The crewman, do you mean? He wasn't there before, was he? That's what I thought. Why don't we try talking to him? Probably because I'm likely to get yelled at again. But I suppose I could try.
Examine.
Is that? Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no, it's just that crewman standing by the door. I can't help feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir?
Yes, what can I do for you? I'm back, bitches.
It is him.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
even got the
back.
same
Let's
pose.
go.
I love it. I love that they used the same pose as well.
God. I gave him like a nothing voice, and he keeps coming back.
Yeah. I recognize that face, but it can't be.
That voice, that boring voice.
It is. I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga.
Hello again.
What are you doing here?
I think that should be my line.
I feel like, now that I think about it, I feel like you've made Herlock's voice basically this. Almost.
Yeah, I'm trying to differentiate it.
Maybe keep this one and then you could adjust Herlock's or something. I don't know.
I will not. I refuse.
You can't age down Herlock's
Well, I
voice.
think
into
that should be
anything.
my line.
Cease this instant.
I'm trying to think.
I was so stunned when I saw you. My heart stopped.
No.
I like that. I'm going with this.
Kotowaru.
Bro, I was like so sad, bro. This is good. Just save and quit. The ultimate act of defiance.
I'm actually tempted.
I was gonna say we should stop when we get out of this room, but this is a big room.
So, for such a little room, it's pretty big. Yeah.
Well,
It's been 3 hours 40 minutes.
we could stop if you want.
I just want you to not voice this character like this. That's all I need.
Too bad.
Nearly stopped, I hope.
I received some special orders to get on the cover as... Wait, this is just... Fuck.
Yeah.
Wait, do.
Boring voice. Monotone it.
I received some special orders to get on the cover as a member of the crew and board this ship.
Why are you doing it in the... At least
use the
British accent.
I'm so lost.
At least use the British accent.
I received some special orders to get undercover as a member of a crew and board this ship.
There we go. That works. Perfect.
Board it. Thanks, bro.
Again? Fucking... Again with this California. Surfers exist. You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. Problem is, I don't even know what he's actually said because I've been too focused on the fact that I hate whatever you've been saying, how we've been saying it.
Yeah.
How do I... history. I'm trying to go back to history, but accidentally press Z. Should be my line. I was just done when I saw you. So special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew on board the ship. That's it. And then if there's anything I can do to help you, please ask, he says. I never expected to see this man on board. But perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. I think that's the point. Maybe we do just stop, to be honest, though.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's just too much. There's just everything is happening. All of the things
happens so much. As the great horse once told me.
A horse in charge of some books. All right. We're just gonna end the stream. I need to stand up. I need to do not this for a little bit. I need to just kind of exist, you know? I need to exist externally of the great Ace Attorney.
Good luck escaping from me. I'm in your mind, in your dreams, in your body.
What I like is you actually did. After all that talk about not changing Herlock's voice, you did just then. That was a little bit different. That was a little bit different from how you were doing it before, and I preferred it. I preferred it though. You gotta keep it like that. It's very simple. Simple da. Dayo. Anyway.
I'll try my best.
It's time to stop. You know what that means. Time to say goodbye to the things we love and to being on fucking stream.
Yes.
Yes. I made a stupid Ruby reference. It was terrible. I'm so sorry. Anyway, what were you saying?
I was saying goodbye to everybody.
Bye. Thanks for coming by. It's been fun, but holy shit, I need to just do something else for a little bit. Even though this game is amazing.
Listen to 21st of September on loop. For yourself.
For all of 27 minutes. But 7 minutes is all I can spare.
We could, yeah.
But that requires me to open Twitch and do the thing, and also find someone to actually raid in the first place. Imagine knowing who is around to be raided.
No one I'm following is streaming.
How about anyone I'm following? The Yogscast and Tactical Potato, yeah. No, I don't think those are the kind of channels that I should be raiding.
It's up to you.
Yeah, there's no one really to... I honestly I'm just not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna do it. Anyway, see you guys next time. Bye!